Hi, today I'm bringing you another participant session with Vagrein. This session, as I'm editing it up, I'm finding out that it has tons of really amazing topics. I've written them down on a piece of paper to share with you. So the first one is spiritual bypassing. Then the client or the participant and Vagrein talk about self-esteem issues, about people becoming non-physical and what that means in terms of their relationship to you. What's the difference between channeling and mediumship? Should this person work as a channel with clients yet or not? Should they work on their book? What desire truly is and where desires truly come from. If they're an empath, a guide, or support. The cats are meowing tons in the background. If you're safe to let go of permission to be you, and so much more. So I want you to jump right in and enjoy the first part of this two-part video from this particular participant session. Have fun. Good now to you. We are pleased to be meeting with you in this fashion and are eager to discuss with you anything you so choose to know more of yourself. Hello.
Hi, Vagrein. I'm so excited to be sitting with you. Thank you for being here.
We thank you.
Okay, so I do have a lot of questions, and I'm just going to start.
Yep.
Okay, so my first question is around bypassing, like spiritual bypassing, emotional bypassing. And sometimes I feel like I get confused because I understand that we have emotions based off of our beliefs, and so if we can change our beliefs at any time, then where is the line between we just choose to change what we're feeling, or we're bypassing what we're feeling because we don't want to feel what we're feeling? Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
We would say that the definition of bypassing would be using what you know of spiritual concepts to avoid emotions. Emotions are that information that your own system is giving you to help you to point towards beliefs that are no longer serving you. There are no beliefs that are positive or negative. In the same way, there are no actual emotions that are positive or negative. There are simply emotions that to you feel more or less comfortable because of their proximity to the reality of your inner being's perception on said topic or belief, etc. So, bypassing is an unhealthy practice, or can be an unhealthy practice, in that instead of actually feeling the emotion and taking the wisdom that is being offered to you by that emotion, one is using their concepts and saying to themselves something along the lines of, I should not be feeling this, therefore I will paste on top of this emotion a concept or an idea of a different emotion that is not actually the reality of your system communicating with you, in order to, in some level of intellectualization, come away from that negative feeling. As you know, there are many ways to have relief from negative feeling, many systems, many modalities to soothe yourselves so that your emotions are not quite as strong in any given moment in time. There is distraction, there are substances that one can use, activities that one can perform. Bypassing in the way that you are talking of is simply using your intellect and what you know of your spiritual learnings, so to speak, to avoid feeling that emotion. What we would say is, yes, of course, you can at any point in time allow yourself to shift your beliefs. But that can only occur once one is honest about what one's current belief is and does go through the process of feeling the emotion which is pointing towards perhaps that belief or something that is ready to be let go of. And then, from the space that they actually are in, adopting and training themselves into a new belief, which can take its a manner of time. So that is a more holistic way of going about changing your baseline emotional states. That is not to say that there are not people who are very quick at recognizing what emotion they are feeling based upon circumstance or situation and going, oh, look at that. Isn't that fun? I have this belief that no longer serves me, therefore I'm ready to let it go. Because many, yes, of your beliefs are only not let go of because you are stubbornly holding on to them. Not because they are attached to you, not because they are controlling you, not because you have some sort of subconscious mind that is refusing to let go of it, but because that belief in some way or other still is in some way serving you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I still am dealing with like this self-esteem issue. where my mind tells me, or I feel like I experience that I'm building my self-esteem. And then when it comes into the universe offering me an opportunity to really see like, oh, have you really, it comes up where it's more difficult. And so can you offer just guidance or advice or understanding of what's going on with that for me? Does that make sense?
Yes, we would like you to clarify some of the terms that you have used, both self-esteem and difficult.
Okay, so I feel like I'm coming back more into my self-empowerment of knowing more of the truth of who I am. And when I'm in a space with another to either offer maybe some of my gifts or something I have to offer to them, asking maybe for, in a session or for money or something that would show my self-value or self-worth to myself, it's hard for me to request that or ask that. And it feels really well, I guess if I'm going to reframe the word, it feels painful to me as opposed to difficult, why I can't or why I struggle with that.
Yes. So worthiness in terms of remuneration or exchange is not actually connected to self-worth or self-esteem. That is part of that collective conditioning that you are holding on to. In other words, the universe has already decided that you are worthy and that you do deserve to exist, and that is the only reason why you do exist, because your worthiness is inherent. You do not see this because you are still subscribing to the belief that your worthiness is somehow connected to exchange with other beings, or with exchange with you needing to find a way to survive based upon how good or how bad you are. It is this that is holding you into this idea of I need to have a certain X, Y, or Z before I can prove to others or to myself that I am worthy. So it is not so much that you are feeling pain because you do not feel that you are worthy. It is that you are still or slightly off your target. You are attempting to build up the persona of someone who believes themselves to be worthy, as opposed to simply letting go of the entire concept that unworthiness is possible in the first place. If you could understand that there is no such thing as unworthiness, there is no such thing as low self-esteem, because your inner being does not and cannot have low self-esteem for you, then you can begin to understand how the behavior of, for example, not accepting exchange for your gifts, which by the way do not belong to you, they are your divine purpose to share, then you can understand how that is detrimental not only to you, because you are not then receiving or feeling appreciated for what you are sharing, but is also detrimental to the other being, because they are not able to in return gift you with something that would serve you in your life, be that some money to do with what you would like, be that a smile. So there is the ability that you have now, and the reason why it feels painful or difficult is because you are simply looking to do something that is impossible. It is actually impossible to be worthy enough to receive a certain sum of money, or worthy enough to be able to receive love from another, because it is impossible to not be. So if you can begin to, whenever you have that challenge or when you have that difficulty, remember that the attempt to feel good enough to be able to receive is what is causing the discomfort. And simply go, okay, discomfort, you are allowed to be here, and I am going to receive the gift anyway, or and I am going to ask for the exchange anyways. Because once you do begin to ask for that exchange, you will find that new circumstances will come into your experience where people are more than happy to give you that exchange. They are delighted to help you on your journey. They are delighted to be able to give something back for the gifts that you have given them. And then your reality will have shifted into one where you are understanding that even as you are receiving, that is a gift to another. Does this help to clarify?
Yes, that's so awesome. Thank you so much.
We thank you.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay, so here's another question. So this is really interesting. Can you please speak upon the divine timing of your teachings coming into my life so closely after my sister's passing? Because something about that felt very, very connected.
Well, it is no secret that when someone who is close to you passes, it is a very transformative period for you. Many doors open, many opportunities arise. Most do not see them as opportunities because they do not realize that the major situations or transitions in one's life are those doors opening, because it does often feel like doors are closing when someone does leave your physical proximity. In part, it is because of your soul contract with this being who is now non physical and allows you or has offered you more access to some of what you already know. When someone does go through a situation where they are forced to tap into, because much of your sorrow about that passing is not directly related to the loss of another being, but it is collective sorrow, it is lifelong sorrow, it is things you have built in your system, which is also why mourning is so valuable. It does allow you to let go of other emotions that do not serve you any longer, or let go of ideas, or let go of circumstances, or let go of situations that do not serve you any longer. When someone passes, you have these doors open for you. But we have come into your experience in this now moment simply because now you are in the space where you are in resonance with these messages, with these teachings, and you have recognized them or are recognizing them as part of you. We have said many times that even though we exist in a physical experience through this particular vessel, we are not in and of ourselves in existence at all. In other words, we are called through this vessel based upon your will for that to occur. And any transmissions that you have looked at or heard that seem to be in the past tense are not actually past tense. They are simply manifesting in front of your physical reality experience as you are calling in them to you. So you can look at this as both our entry into your physical reality and make that an important or profound thing for yourself. Or you can also say that, isn't it interesting how around the same time that my beloved passed on, there were more ladybugs in my garden. You see, it is all simply as important or unimportant as you make it out to be. We would always lean towards making everything to be unimportant and yet miraculously, because it is all a miracle. Your experience and your pinhole perspective on the world is a miracle, but it is simultaneously also the easiest and most natural, most organic, holistic thing that could possibly ever occur.
That's so awesome. Thank you, because my question of asking that, everything you're describing is exactly what I was feeling, and I was navigating that in a because we hear so much that when we lose a loved one that there should be so much pain, and I did experience that, and I do experience that still, but what I more experienced was this opening of myself, and I felt like the pieces that I couldn't fully come into realizing for myself when she was here just opened, and was like she took that with her or something. And so thank you, that is so confirming and beautiful for me.
Yes,
Okay.
and we will say that when someone does transition that is close to you, it is no different than them having been in physical form and being a guide to you or being in soul contract with you. Except that they now have the added advantage of not being constrained to their physical form. Therefore, the relationship that you had with them, if anything, is augmented when someone transitions, because they do have a closer access to that aspect of you that is non physical, that is not constrained by things such as ego or resentment or past or whatever it is. So you do, yes, lose a physical counterpart, but you do gain someone in your soul family that is a direct guide for the rest of your experience.
Yes, thank you so much. Um, okay, so yeah, because I feel her stronger. I feel her more almost like she's like become part of me.
Yes, that is exactly what has
Yes.
occurred.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. Okay. So then switching this a little bit up. What is the difference between being a channel and being a medium? And because I feel drawn to both of these modalities, is that something that, well, I imagine could be available for me because that's why I would even be feeling that. Is that true?
Yes, that is correct. The only reason why anyone is interested in anything whatsoever is because that is something with which they are wanting to experiment. There is no difference between what you are expressing, except for the words and the definitions that humans have given to those. Normally, when one uses the term mediumship, they do refer to multiple different energy sources coming through, often of deceased beings or spirits, something along those lines, and have given the term channeling instead to things that could be considered entities or extraterrestrials or angels. It is no different. The brain waves in terms of the human physical form do function exactly the same. The opening on the non-physical perception is the same. It is a question of what one would allow through, or if you are to imagine a colander and a funnel, what it is you are pouring into that funnel so that it can come out the other side.
Okay, awesome. Um, is there, so I'm really working on opening up to these gifts as universe is moving them through me. Does it make sense to be working with clients and others in this way? I feel like I've been experimenting with that, and I just feel like these gifts are coming through so like stronger than ever, and it's happening so fast. Um, and is there anything I need to do for further training or to continue to develop this before I would be ready to really be working with others in this way,
No,
as in
it
service?
is your faith that will allow you to feel comfortable in interacting with others in this way. As long as you are in integrity and you are explaining to the people around you that you are a fledgling, so to speak, or that you are not 100% confident in what you are doing, then you can easily experiment and see what occurs, see what feels good to you, and play around with that because it is your life ultimately, not only your skill or not only your gift. Feel into what feels good for you. But there's no requirement, there's no training that is necessary. You are either able to step out of the way or not, and we will refer you to this particular vessel from one day to another, did take that step and was pretty much along the same levels of ability to do this particular work as is today.
Okay. Okay. Um, okay, so then let me see if this is just redundant question or just to move on to a different one. Okay, I know that you speak of that, like our purpose here is just merely to physically exist, like that is following our purpose. Is there something more along like a soul's calling that we feel? Is that also for our purpose, or that's just because we desire it?
Well, your
Does that make
desire
sense?
is your
Okay.
purpose in many ways. Because
Okay.
if you look at your desire, you will see that you cannot actually pinpoint the source of your desire. Yes, you can think that there are reasons why you want X, Y, or Z, or think that there are reasons why you are interested in playing the piano or going to a party, for example. But you are unique and you are specifically you. No two people desire exactly the same thing at any given point in time. And so one must conclude that your desire is coming from a source that is non physical. Because even with all of your experiences in life, you can look at a small child and one will desire to have the ice cream, yes, because it tasted good the last time, and one will not. So there are things with which you have come into this physical experience to experiment with. And when we say that your purpose is simply to be here, yes, we do say that that is your only purpose. But the aspect that is missing from that statement is your purpose is to be here as you. Therefore, whatever it is that you can determine, your desire coupled with your unique quirks and experiences and, shall we say, climate of self come into this existence for, you can then determine what it is your purpose will be. Whatever it is feels good to you is a good indication of what that purpose is and is the direction that we often counsel heading in. But Is there anyone judging you at the end? Is there anything that is saying you did fulfill your purpose or did not? No, not at all.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so I've begun writing a book. Can you offer any guidance or insight on this for me? And does it seem though I am on the right track for what I'm writing? And is some of what I'm writing information that I'm channeling?
So our advice or guidance would be keep going. You are on the right track. If you are, first off, you cannot ever be off of the right track because any direction you are heading in will always bring up whatever it is that is resistance or whatever it is that you are ready to let go of in terms of your expansion. Yes, we will say that some of the material you are writing is channeling, but that is because everyone who is writing is channeling, as every artist is channeling, as every musician is channeling, as every human being is channeling both themselves and whatever energies they are accessing in any now moment. So, do you need to determine which aspects are, quote, you and which aspects are, quote, channeled? No, not at all. In fact, even when we began to come through this vessel, there was the option of claiming every single thing that we were saying as its own. That was not the decision that was made. The same way that there are genius writers who say, well, I sat down and 3 weeks later the book was written and I do not know how it happened, but of course I wrote it and they put their name on it. And that is correct as well, because there is no separation between you and the universal energies. Only the separation that you decide this is me and this is not.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so in relation to the work that I do at healing sessions, when I am working with somebody, I will feel emotions that run through me. The energy will run through me. Am I processing the emotions that they are not processing, or what exactly is happening in the session with that?
It is twofold. In those moments, yes, you are tapping into what it is to be them and borrowing energetically that aspect of them. It is not them. Again, you are all connected. It is one being. So, yes, you are feeling the emotions, but you are not necessarily feeling them for them. You can share this information with them, or you can simply share it telepathically or energetically. You do not even need to fabricate it in your mind. But as it is occurring, as this experience is occurring, what is happening is both of you and the universal energies are being identified of what is no longer serving. More explanation than that is difficult because it is quite abstract, but we do know that you are understanding what we are saying.
Okay, awesome. Okay, and everything is aligned with that, right? I just like I feel it feels correct. It feels good when this is happening.
Yes.
So okay. Okay, awesome. So okay, so this actually is another thing regarding just what feels called through me. And my question is, does my soul have a contract with the collective to as part of my soul's purpose to be a guide slash support for humanity back to their own sovereignty and re-empowerment? Because I'm not sure if that's fully clear. Is that clear?
Yes.
Or do I okay, thank you.
It's a simple answer. The answer is yes. You would not have even thought of it if it was not.
Okay. Okay, thank you, because it feels so strong. Okay, awesome.
You do not
Okay,
need validation from us or anyone else.
okay, thank you. Yes. Can you offer guidance on how to shift that for myself? I understand that you're feeling that so because I feel you understanding that I deal with that in my life and I'm ready to let that go. So do you have guidance on how I can work on that for myself?
Yes, it is a bit of that serpent eateth its own tail because in your desire for validation, you also have a desire for the validation that it is okay to let go of that desire for validation, which is quite
Hmm.
humorous when you sit with it, and it is in part why you giggled. We will say that at any point in time, the only thing that is needed for the serpent to stop borrowing or biting its own tail is for it to relax its jaw. You do not need validation You do not need us to say that you do not need validation. You do not even need yourself to tell yourself that you do not need validation. You can feel safe to simply let that go. You are safe to let go of any need for anyone else to confirm. Why? The reason is because of the statement that you shared just before this question. Because you are not here to be a follower. You do not need permission from anyone else on this planet. In fact, you thinking you need permission is old baggage. It is old hardware. It is not serving you in any way whatsoever. It is not as hard as you think to let go of this. You can and are safe to, and this is the important thing because there is some fear in this. There is some fear that if you are to let go of your requesting for permission to be you, that something will go wrong. We are telling you that absolutely nothing will go wrong when you have decided, and it is a decision, that you are safe to be you. That includes not caring what anyone says. It includes not caring that everything you are doing is different than another person would do it. If you need validation, and this is the only validation you will ever need if you look for it from now on, as to why it is correct for you to be you and not check in with anyone else, all you have to do is look at the majority of the beings on this planet and how they are behaving with one another. And in you seeing that their behavior is not serving them, you can realize that they can never give you any correct advice.
Okay. Okay, I feel like I need to listen to that again.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm going to cut that off right there and share the second half of this participant session with you at a later time. Stay tuned to this channel so that you can continue to listen to this session, and make sure you subscribe so you know exactly when that session comes out or when the premiere is for it. I'd also love to hear your comments about anything that came up for you during this session, because I love to respond to comments. It's my way of interacting with you and participating in your experience of these sessions. I would also love for you to hit a like button on this video so that the algorithm knows that you like it and can share it to other people. And I'm hoping you'll continue to enjoy these free sessions that I provide, and that the participants are generous enough to provide with Vagrein. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.